Right, guys, welcome back. This is episode 6 of Talk Up, and I'm really excited today to be here with James, obviously. Unfortunately, Jay can't make it. Man's got COVID. Managed to survive the entire pandemic, but in March 2024, he gets hit with COVID, so he can't make it up. But we're here today at 360. So, guys, thank you very much for putting us up. As some of you might be aware, I don't have access to the old studio anymore, but we will touch on that a little bit later. So yeah, the guys at 360, for those who don't know, anything you need for sort of large format print, exhibitions, store fit outs, everything else like that, they're your creative marketing geniuses. They used to do all of our exhibition stands at Verso and Premispec, and they've done they do have small clients like EE, Jaguar, Apple, people like that. So if you're a small little company or a large massive conglomerate, you're looking for an exhibition stand, large format print, anything like that, get hold of the guys at 360 down here in Cardiff. So, James, mate, it's been a little minute.
It has been a while.
I know I've been busy. What's going on with you?
Same old stuff.
Same old stuff.
Yeah, nothing's changing around my end. Everything's changing your end. So, yeah.
Well, we were catching up earlier, and you were mentioning a friend of yours had a bit of a rough time of it.
Yeah, so it's like a topic we'll first talk about is the scams that people need to be aware of. And now, recently, a friend's been telling me a scam that's going around, and I put on my story on Instagram. The NIC have put it out, so it must be quite a big scam. Yeah. But it's all to do with EICRs in your area. Right. And so this company, they must be, from what I've been told, they're well set up, like website, phone numbers, emails, everything you can think of is in place. And what they do, they basically contact you.
So it looks like a genuine company then?
Oh, yeah. From what they say, yeah, genuine. Like, and then, they contact you and say, do you want to put in for going for a year's worth of EICRs? I think you have to do like 30 a month or something like that, you mentioned. Right. And then from that is you go through like interviews. The person said he had to do interviews. So I think it was like 3 interviews he may have done. Right.
So you interview with this company?
Yeah. So you speak to these people on the phone and I'm guessing emails, and I don't know if it was video or whatever. But you speak to them, then you tell them everything about your company, about what you do, anything you can think of. Question like
a proper formal job interview.
Yeah, like from step by step, it's anything you think of. Apparently, it's like just that's what they do, right? To get you enticed, if that makes sense. Okay. So then, what they say, you pay a deposit. They'll ring you back on the last interview, I think, and then you pay a deposit to say you're definitely going to do it, and you've been accepted, right. And then.
Hang on. So you go through the interview processes. Yeah. They grill you on your practices,
sign contracts, written contracts.
Right, okay. And then once you pass, quote unquote, you get through the quality procedure. Yeah. You then have to pay a deposit.
Yeah. Which was, I think he said, $2,500, around that figure.
And then that's supposed to give you what?
All the addresses, I'm guessing phone numbers of all the tenants. Because you mentioned you go to estate agents, you have the estate agents' numbers and stuff.
Right. And are these genuine estate agents?
Well, I'm guessing not now.
Right, yeah. But so hang on. So you're basically paying then for a lead list. Is that essentially what it is? So
no, because the EICRs were supposed to be there. They're ready to go. They're ready to start. Right.
So they're masquerading as a company that has an order book of EICRs, and they're looking for people, electricians, to carry out these EICRs on their behalf.
Like 30 a month for a year. Right. So for one-man bands,
that's 360 EICRs.
That's happy days.
That's a lot of money.
So if they got 2 done a day, which is another conversation, but if they got 2 done a day, so I think he said the pricing wasn't actually that good, or what they was going to pay you. Right. So he said he tried to negotiate them to get more money, but they actually said no. So even though it was a scam,
they make you work for it.
They make you work. It's like that real. They made you work for the money, if that makes sense,
mate.
So even like.
So at what point do you separate with money then?
Right at the end. So when all the contract, you had to do. I think you said you had to do a water test. Is that what's it called now? It's Legionnaire.
Oh yeah.
You had to do that. You had to do a course, online course. They send you the course. You do that.
They have an.
Yeah. So then I'm guessing when all that's done, I think it was right at the end. They're supposed to send you the list of all the customers, I'm guessing, and you don't hear off them after you pay the deposit.
That's it. So they go, right, yep, okay.
So I think you said this over like a 3-week period. Interviews, emails, courses, everything. You send the money and you're done. You're off again.
Mate, that is mad.
So yeah, it's just got to be careful. Like, but then he said he went onto the website afterwards. And you know, every website has like an about section.
Yeah.
You go down, you got the team members, and if you look at the pictures, take like attention to them, you can see they're AI generated.
Oh wow.
But you wouldn't pick that up if you didn't.
But I wonder how much that is AI generated, like the courses and everything else. Because from some of the stuff I've seen, you could easily go into AI and say, generate me a course on EICRs.
Yeah.
You can ask it anything.
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah.
And as long as the questions are,
but
you know,
what you've seen as well is he was asking questions, electrical questions.
Well, that was my next question. Surely whoever's behind that has to be electrically disciplined to be able to ask the right questions at enough volume, to enough detail to make someone think that's real.
He was asking about like certain limitations, certain coding, certain blah 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 whatever.
What, as part of the interview process?
Yeah, before even signing the contract, and they apparently had the answers to everything. Answers to everything. So I said they have to be doing that job beforehand.
Yeah, or be involved with someone that does. I mean, are there genuine companies out there that do this?
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah. So someone's either worked at a company like that or for a company like that and copied and pasted, didn't they?
That's what I reckon.
Mate, that's mad. And $2,500 is like.
Yeah. So you think of one-man bands? That could kill some one-man bands.
Yeah.
Thinking they got a year's worth of work.
Yeah.
And then
separate with $2,500 like that. In a climate like it's like at the minute, because domestically especially, it's really difficult out there at the moment. I know you wouldn't know that because you're commercially, but domestically out there it's really, really quiet. But that is, that can bring us on a whole new topic that we didn't think about today, is if a lot of that is AI generated in a world that's going more that way. Wow. I mean, I still get the emails of such and such has logged in, and if you don't reset, click this link to reset your password, and you can quite clearly see this isn't real.
99% of the time anyone can notice a scam, but I think to that detail of what it was, I would love to know how many people have fallen for that. And for the NIC to put it out as well, it must have got to be.
Yeah, that's got to be reported quite a lot.
Yeah. Do you think all they've got to do is get, say, 50 companies? Think how much money that is?
Yeah, but do you know what I've never understood about stuff like that? Right, so if I sent someone $2,500 or even 250 quid, it makes no difference. I've got to send it somewhere, right? So that has to go to a bank account. That bank account has to be registered somewhere.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
and that's the point. So surely it's somewhere down the line, especially if it's that much money and that many people, legally there's a way that they can track and trace and pull that back through.
Well, you would assume so, wouldn't you? But I don't know. But yeah, it's just mental. So you got to be careful out there.
I mean, does your insurance cover stuff like that?
Don't know. it's mental. I think another thing what he mentioned as well, like when he originally had the text, he like signed up to some sort of platform where you get work.
Yeah.
And like a couple of days later, he had a text from the company, and it wasn't just a number; it was the company name.
Right.
So.
Oh yeah, I get them sometimes when it pops up in like NatWest, for example.
Yeah. So you said that popped up, so you thought obviously straight away you think it's legit. It's not just like someone ringing you. But yeah,
mate, that's mental.
So yeah, you gotta be careful. If you are listening to this and you're going through the same thing, stop.
yeah, and vet whoever's trying to sell you EICRs.
Yeah, but just look into everything.
Yeah, that's mad. That is mad. Like you say, I mean, you only need 20, 30, 40 people, and that's a king's ransom.
And then shut everything
down. Shut it down and start it again.
Yeah,
mate, that's mental. That's mental. I mean, guys, again, if you're not NIC, speak to NAPIT, speak to whoever your governing body are, see if they know about it. The scary thing is if there's one of those out there, like you say, once they shut it down, or they could quite easily copy and paste that and make multiple of those. And that's the other thing. Like, I suppose those tests and even the response, they could all be bots now.
Yeah.
They might not even be like. Yeah. That's insane.
You just never know. So careful where you put your numbers as well, I suppose. Numbers, emails.
Yeah. But there you go though. So if an electrician doesn't advertise their contact details, how are you going to get hold of them?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Oh, guys, I mean, there's a rabbit hole we can go down there. Have any of you guys been affected by any scams or anything else like that that you think the wider electrical community needs to know about? I mean, we started with tool theft on the last episode, but this is straight up money theft out your bank, and they're getting you to do it for them. Yeah, guys, report anything. Let everyone know. I mean, that's where social media is awesome, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone, I've seen the other side of it over the last couple of weeks, but the as soon as someone says something, 1,000 people hear it, whether it's true or not. But with this sort of stuff, spread the word, let people know as soon as you can. I remember once I had, it's not too long ago actually, I had, because apparently we banked with a company, with a company called HSBC, like people don't know that.
Just a small company.
It's just a little one, isn't it? A little company out of Hong Kong. But, and their emails used to come through with these weird email addresses to the point where I used to have to forward it onto my bank manager and ask, is this genuine? And 99% of the time it was. But they're so weird that my inbox will flag it as spam anyway. Oh. It's just because that all gets automated through a system, which is not. But yeah, so sometimes genuine emails look less genuine than the fake ones. But the only time I've ever had an issue like that, it was about 12 years ago. I had my car broken into, and in my wisdom, I'd left my wallet in the car. Yeah, brilliant, right? So it's down the bay it was, and they nicked my wallet. And they tried my card at Adamsdown. So I didn't. Yeah, okay. Some reprobates have nicked it. Cool, is what it is. Well, about 4 or 5 months later, I get a letter from Barclays saying you're overdue on your loan. Da 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 da. Never banked with Barclays a day in my life.
Oh.
I was like, so I called Barclays and it's got all my details on it and everything else. They're going through security, and I can't pass it. I was like, what? Look, I don't know what this is. I've got no idea. And then they started asking me some questions that didn't make any sense. And like, do you think you could have been a victim of fraud? I was like, well, I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
And then they said, do you recognise this account number? Which I didn't. And it was a debit account number with Lloyds, who I've also never banked with.
Mad.
And I was like, they're like, look, we've got to put you on this register, blah, blah, blah. You need to contact Lloyds, call this number. So I called the number, and they've set up a debit account. And off that debit account, right, which is just a standard current account, right? They've taken out a Sainsbury's loan. They've taken out 3 credit cards, and what they've done, they've spent it all on the high street in Glasgow. And the only reason I could prove it wasn't me is because on the same dates, my NatWest card had been used in Cardiff, so I can't be in Glasgow and in Cardiff. And then I couldn't get a credit card for years. I couldn't get any. Like, it was mental. So, and it took 6 months. They'd racked up 38 grand worth of debt in my name.
Days.
And it's because my license was in my wallet, which had my address on it, my date of birth, and my full name.
That's mad. They literally get anything.
And that's all you need to open up a bank account. And they didn't, because I had a good credit rating and whatever, and they didn't question it. So these guys just had you should see they sent me copies of statements. Zara, Foot Locker, all the places I wish I could afford to bloody shop all the time. They've just gone, emptied.
Yeah, so there has to be a way of like tracing it.
Yeah, so you need a current account to set up it's got to link to a credit account. So that's how they've done it, because all my details, my name, my address, my date of birth, all of that was on my license. And that's all you need to open a current account. And because I'd, already had accounts and, it was all correct details, they didn't even ask a question. So they just opened the accounts. And that was 12 years ago. It took 4 years before I could get a credit card.
Mental.
Every time I applied for anything with a loan or any sort of credit, there was this little mark against me, which had nothing to do with me. But yeah, over 30 grand's worth of debt. But at least that wasn't I hadn't separated with my money.
Yeah.
It was the bank's money, do you know what I mean? They lent it to someone. And I could prove that it wasn't me. But the way that was so deep, because I didn't get a single letter. Right, from the only one I got was that Barclays letter. Turns out they'd send letters. Lloyds had sent letters. Sainsbury's, all these guys, they were doing. So we had it was a block of flats, and there was a set of letterboxes out the front. Well, they were just intercepting the post.
No way.
So I just thought, dickheads have nicked my bloody wallet, and that's the end of that. Do you know what I mean? And turns out they obviously sold that to someone who's a bit savvy or whatever, but they must have been local, because they were waiting by my post box.
That's mental.
Absolutely insane, isn't it? So
I know where my girlfriend lives. She lives in a flat.
Yeah.
With his letters go in. She said all stuff always gets stole.
Yeah.
She said she bought me a card before and it got stolen because people think there's money in it.
Or
or
did she?
Yeah.
Did you forget?
Yeah.
No, but it's true. Cards go missing all the time because birthday cards. People always think it's money.
Yeah.
So my gran, she used to send a birthday card in like something else to make it because she was so scared people were going to so just send a check. They can't nick that. And then she used to shout at me for not cashing a check because it messed up her little books. But yeah, so scams, guys, they are out there. They're not just spam email guys. They are getting more sophisticated, and I certainly couldn't afford $2,500. And if one person $2,500, someone could be $4,500. If I suppose they probably pitch that figure in based on all the information you've given them and how much they think you can afford.
Yeah, true.
But to actually make you work for it.
It's just mental, isn't it?
but that's the genius of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the absolute genius of it.
It's got to be. It's so well thought out. Has to be.
Yeah, guys, like I say, if there is anyone who's experienced anything like that at the moment, or even catching wind of it, report it straight away, but share it with the wider community because you could save someone else from going through some real hardship and pain. Which, like I say, when it's really difficult out there at the moment, it could be the difference between someone paying their mortgage and feeding their kids and not really. So
Definitely.
Yeah, so great story. Well, not for your mate, but guys, before we get into the next part of the podcast, okay, I want to say a huge thank you to the guys at Eicr for continuing to sponsor the Talk Up podcast. And on top of that, they have actually given us a giveaway. I'll lead it over to my assistant over here to...
So this is what we all call a tester pen. And we all have one in our toolbox, and we know what they should be used for and what they shouldn't be used for. But
And I want you to say the German name that it says on the top there, or give it a go. What's it called? What does Eicr call it in German?
Spanngrufer.
There you go. so for any of you guys out there who are bilingual, you know what it called in German. So guys, this is a giveaway from Eicr. So what we will be doing, we'll be putting a post up with what question do we ask this month for this giveaway?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Right. Well, as we continue through the podcast, as so regularly happens, something will come up, and that will be the question for the giveaway for the Volt Pen. So you'll have to keep listening because we don't know what it is yet. Guys, thank you for listening to part 1 of the Talk Up podcast. For those of you who can't wait for part 2, the full audio version is now available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Woo! Woo!